Gentlemen, if you are going out in public dressed like this, in fact, if you are walking by a mirror without complete shame dressed like this, then consider this video an intervention. Because everything about this is sick and wrong. Now this is how you step outside. This is how you walk by that mirror with some pride. I just went from a red hot mess to something that's red hot. I went from dumpy to a double dose of extra large deliciousness. How did I do it? Well, today I'm going to show you 3 simple items that you can use to completely change your physical image. This is Big Pretty Crowe. Hi, and welcome back to Big Pretty Man, the channel for the extra large man who wants to live his life large and in charge. I'm your host, Timothy Big Pretty Crowe. I'm a wardrobe and lifestyle consultant for the extra large man. Okay, as I promised in my last video on man boobs and the history of attraction, I'm going to show a few tricks on how you can change your perception. Change the perception of your image to give it that more ideal male look. Now, men, the ideal look, as I said in the last video, is for that V shape. That wide shoulders narrowing down to the hips and actually narrowing all the way down to the ground. We find that shape very pleasing. In fact, humans like solid shapes. They're very satisfying to our mind. So we like squares, we like triangles, we like rectangles, we like shapes uniform. And anything that's off throws us off. We don't find appealing. So therefore, we want to give the impression of that V shape as a man. Now, as you know, we big guys, we're not a V. We're more of a big oval. In my case, more like a big barrel. So what we have to do is try to break that up and break that perception up to give the impression of that V. So now how do we do that? Well, there are a couple of tricks. One thing I'm going to say is the way I'm speaking to you right now. Now, if you noticed in that horrible yellow nightmare I had as an example in the beginning, you'll notice I greeted everybody like this. Now, in truth, now I have to say, if I step, you can see I still look much better in the way that I'm dressed right now. But that definitely shows off that full round shape. But then how many times do you meet somebody like this? You know, hi, how you doing? How do you stand and talk to somebody like this? Maybe if you're in a line at the movies, that'd be about it, right? No, you meet people face on. Because face on, that breaks that up. And you know, therefore they're going to be looking at you in this dimension rather than in that profile. Nobody wants to give an Alfred Hitchcock impression. So, the way that now there are also some things in your wardrobe that you can break this up. And I've got 3 items that are a must that you need in your closet. And the first one being a belt. Just a good old-fashioned belt, and it needs to be a belt that fits. Also, not a belt that will be too tight. Because if you wear a belt too tight, it's going to squeeze you in at your waist, and you're going to get that spare tire look. Nobody wants to look like the Michelin Man. You don't need those lumps. You don't need to look lumpy. You want to look uniform. You're trying to break up the roundness. So you need, first you need a good belt. But like I said, you got to wear that belt a little bit looser than really tight. The other thing you need, you need to get these right away. The other thing you need to get is your best friend as a big man. These suspenders, or for you British chaps, braces. Of course, here in America, braces go on your teeth or on your legs. But either way, you need some suspenders. Suspenders are a big man's best friend. Now, they're going to save you so much. So now, you're asking, so what's the third thing? Well, the third thing would be, and I'm a huge proponent of these guys, third thing would be this. a vest, which is like I'm wearing right now. A vest and suspenders are the secret to changing your shape. And I'm telling you, how does that work? Well, if you have your pants on and you are pulling the belt too tight and you don't have on a vest, then, you know, and the shirt's, you're wearing a dress shirt and it's tucked in, well, then you're gonna have that spare tire, that muffin on top. And that's gonna be a great big muffin with us, that muffin top. You don't want to show that. You once again want to break down that silhouette. You want to break down that shape. So, if you get a vest, the vest will help cover that up. Now, there are certain fashion rules. And remember, if you saw my first video, I said that there will be, the big man has to violate a few rules. I'm about to violate a big one. Number one is that you never wear a belt and suspenders together. I know there are a few of the fashion gurus out there online, ones I really respect that have preached against this. One even quoted the Wild Bunch. They said you can't trust a man that wears that can't trust his pants wearing both a belt and suspenders. Well, we don't. We're big men and we do not trust our pants. Why? Because when you're a big guy and you're wearing your pants, and if you have them pulled up, when you walk, you're moving your hips. And when your hips move, that causes your pants, we all know, to start working down. And if you're not careful, you're going to have a very embarrassing moment. You only hope that during that embarrassing moment that your underwear are clean. So yes, I'm wanting you to violate that rule. What I want you to start doing is wearing both your suspenders and your belt. It gives you some extra support. And the type of suspenders that I want you to go out and get are these with the belt clips. Now, the only other alternative is to go get the type that hook directly into your pants. But to do that, you're going to have to go. Most pants, dress pants, do not come with the old-fashioned buttons for the type of suspenders that button in the back and in the front. You have to have them specially put in by your tailor. But in my opinion, you do just as well if you get these belt straps. Also, they're easier to slip off. You gotta go to the bathroom, it's pop, and they're off. And I want you to wear them with the belt. Now, but the thing is, it's not really gonna matter because you're going to conceal it. You're going to conceal these. And how are you going to conceal them? You're going to conceal them with your vest. Now, here's another rule that I'm going to fashion rule I'm going to have you violate. Now, the basic classic men's dress wear rule for wearing a vest is that one, you always leave the bottom button unbuttoned, which I've done here. That's one. And number two, you are never supposed, the vest is never supposed to come down past your belt. Throw that rule straight out now. For a bit, that's okay for these skinny guys, but for us big guys, we need that extra coverage. And why do we need that extra coverage? Well, for two reasons. You're hiding your suspenders, and where they're connected to your belt. You're hiding that faux pas. That's number one. And number two, you're hiding something that I was showing too much of earlier, and that is your pendulous belly, if you have it. This part down here. The vest covers that up. It blends, so therefore, it just goes down to your pants, and that helps to line out the roundness. Also, by wearing the suspenders, you don't have to wear the belt as tight, so you don't have that pull, and you don't have those ugly lumps like the Michelin Man. So, when you get your vest, get it in whatever size you wear, and get it in a long, and then when you put it on, make sure that it comes down just past the belt. Now, while we're at it, I want to introduce you something that I have my hands on, gentlemen. Something that you don't seem to know where it is, and that is your waist. Stop wearing pants down under your belly. I'm sure it does feel more comfortable, but you look horrible. You're just accentuating and pushing that belly out there. It looks awful. You want to cover that up. You need to find, and you know, and also that's going to show the crack of your hind end. Pull your pants up to your real waist. Your real waist is here, just below your navel. If you put your hands on your hips, at your pelvis, that is your waist. Get those pants up there, gentlemen. If you take anything from this video, take that. Get your pants up to your waist. You're going to look a lot better. It's going to cover up the belly. It's going to help flatten that out. If you put the vest on and pull it down to where your belt is, past where the belt is, and it still looks fine. We're just talking about a few inches here. Now you looked all smoothed out. And when you meet somebody head on, also, make sure the vest is a little tight in here. If not, you may have to have it hemmed just a little bit. Sometimes they have the little straps on the side. If you have that, kind of pull them, not tight, just enough to give this a little taper. Because once again, we're wanting to taper down and we're wanting to break up that round silhouette. So now it's more square, straight on. And even from the side, looks a lot better. But you meet people head on, so it's straight from the sides. Now, on top of this, I would also want to emphasize something else. Going for that V shape, you want it to go all the way down to your legs. Your legs will be the end of that V. So that will give that triangular shape. Please, and this is the major rule. Everybody talks about Antonio at Real Men, Real Style, at Gentleman's Gazette, Chap's Guide. All these guys will tell you one thing. The golden rule of all men's dress is fit. It is always fit. You need to get in a good relationship with your tailor. Find a tailor that'll work with you. If you have somebody in your family that can sew, even better. But you need to get a good relationship with your tailor because there's going to be things you're going to need taken in. And fit is key. Having things looking loose on you is just as bad as having things too tight. You want perfect fit. You want to know your measurements. Get the measurement of your neck, of your arms, across your waist especially. These are where you need the measurements. Get a proper fit. And then you need to take your pants in, whether they're jeans, dress pants, I don't care. Take your jeans and slacks in and have the leg from the knee down, tapered down. You know, not skin tight, but have it come down more narrow to your ankle or to your break at your shoe. That way, when people see you, you're starting to make that shape. And if you have a coat on, if you have on a sports jacket or a blazer or a suit jacket, then you're going to have the square shoulders. And that's another rule I want you to feel free and validating. It's cruel with a jacket is, and there's a few. I'm about to really run some shivers up some guru spines online if they see this. But when you wear a jacket, which I'll put on now, you will notice with this jacket that the shoulders are actually a little long on me. Normally you should have that brought in closer to your true shoulder. For a small guy, that's what you do. But for a big guy, I want you to keep a little bit of that squareness, a little bit of that extra. Now, not like I have here. Don't get it like you're a football player, like you're wearing big pads. This isn't the 1980s. But a little extra, or at least have it fixed so that you have that square cut. So if you have that square cut, a little extra padding there isn't going to be that noticeable. Just a little, maybe 1/4 inch. That little extra bit is going to give you, especially when you button your jacket, or even when it's not, because you got the vest on, then, and you're standing, as I am now, see how everything's flattened out? And if I have this one down to my legs, you know, go down to your legs, so you're forming, suddenly, hey, you got the V shape, right down to your feet, completely changing. You walk up, your perception, when you walk up to somebody, meet them now, hi, how you doing? Do I look like this big blimp of a guy. I look like a big man, but all that roundness, all that protruding, all of that, it's contained. It's being held up with that scaffolding I was talking about. And now you look fabulous. And I'll tell you what, I talked earlier about self-esteem and the low self-esteem and people just not caring what they look like. And it's an endless cycle, but you know, this vicious cycle of, I don't look good, so therefore it doesn't matter what I dress. So I dress horrible, now I do look horrible, and it doesn't matter because I'm big. So you got this endless cycle over and over again. And you know, it's just a very self-destructive and unproductive mentality. But you can get this, a good cycle going. If you're dressing nice, and it doesn't always have to be suits and ties. Vests I'll always push for. You can wear a vest or just about anything. I'm gonna make a video on that, don't worry. But you know, when you dress nice and you feel like you look good, and you've got a certain impression you're putting out there, and people will notice. People will say, you know, people come up on the street, they don't even know you. Mike, oh wow, you look great. Wow, you're looking sharp. Get it all the time. That's going to make you feel good about yourself. That's going to build your confidence. Suddenly you are going to feel like you have some worth. So by dressing well, you're building your own self-esteem. You're starting to find a little bit of your worth. Other people saying that you look good does make a difference. Also, even more than that, you are going to feel good about yourself. And if that's the biggest reason to do it, forget everybody else, because if you feel good about yourself, everybody else will feel good about you. Trust me. Like right now, you know, I am a man that weighs 330 pounds. I am a barrel. I look fantastic. I don't just look fantastic. I look pretty. I went beyond handsome. I went beyond fluffy. Sorry, Gabriel. But I went to the level of pretty. And when you feel pretty, other people are going to think you're pretty. So get yourself some vests, get you some suspenders, and get pretty. I'll try to link to a good source for these belt link suspenders down below. But get pretty, and until next time, you stay pretty.